Welcome to the IRONMAN Insider podcast presented by Maurten, where we dive into the minds of the world's most elite athletes as they chase their Ironman dream. I'm your host, Matt Lieto, and today I couldn't be more excited and thankful to have our Women's Pro Series leader on the show with us today. Anne Reischmann has been on an ascension in the sport since she decided to leave track and field for triathlon and then turning pro in 2019. And she's had some big wins, Ironman Cozumel in 2024 and South Africa here in 2025 that solidified herself as one of the best in the sport. But now she's gotten a little bit further and finds herself in the lead of the IRONMAN Pro Series. It's pretty cool, huh, Anna?
Yeah, it came a bit by surprise. I didn't expect it at the beginning of the season, to be honest, but I'm enjoying it as long as I can. Probably in 5 or 6 weeks when Swansea is happening, Cat will surely overtake me, but that's all right. I'm enjoying it right now.
What is the most surprising thing for you so far this year in that, as you said, it's kind of surprising to find yourself there? Is it that win again at South Africa or just kind of consistency you've had?
Well, the win was a bit surprising. It was a bit of unknown territory because it was so early in the season and I had no idea how fit everyone else is, and I wasn't even sure how fit I am. So I was just trying to give my best, and I was holding on until the finish line. I think at just 3 minutes, so it was very close until the end. But I think just the recognition and the attention I received from leading the series now for quite a couple of weeks was something I didn't see coming, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. And has that been, I imagine, something cool that's like, not only obviously are you trying to win each race or do the best you can in each race, but having that pro series as something else to kind of put energy into, has that been a fun, distraction or another thing to focus on?
Yeah, for sure. It's been really fun to have a series, and that's also the reason why I decided to race Venice. It didn't fit the schedule perfectly, but for me it was the best option I had to race in a 70.3 and get 5 races in. Yeah. But I also try and tackle the big races, also not just for the series, but also for their own performance pretty much. So I'd really focused on Hamburg and South Africa, and then obviously Kona is the big goal for the second half of the season.
Right. And I want to talk about some of those races specifically, but first off, I think there's so many different stories in triathlon, and obviously having such an international field that we have in the Pro Series, it's sometimes the stories kind of get lost a little bit. I think you have kind of an interesting background as far as how elite of a track and field runner you were up until, was it 2016? Is that right?
Pretty much until 2016, and then I transitioned to triathlon. I wasn't as elite as someone like Chelsea or Emma Palland, so I was a bit slower than they were, but I was competitive, racing on a national level and at the European cross-country championships twice. And but I had a lot of injuries at the end of the running career, and when a runner gets injured, the runner goes into the pool and swims and on a bike and rides the bike to stay fit. And that's what I did. And then I thought, why not give triathlon a shot? It's been in my family for a long time. And so far I've just pushed it away and focused on running. But it felt right to give it a shot. And then I really enjoyed it. I was a bit surprised by that, to be honest, because running I enjoyed the feeling when the race went well. But during the race, I never really enjoyed it. And in triathlon, I just had so much fun during the race that I was really surprised that just racing, even though it's hard and it's painful, it can actually be quite fun.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, because what were you racing? Were you racing the 5K? Is that right? What was your specialty?
Yeah, I raced 800 meters to the 5K. And steeplechase, sometimes I didn't have a special discipline. I just tried everything a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and those events, you're right, they're not fun at all. That's just pain the entire time, right?
Well, maybe for some people they find enjoyment in that, but I didn't, and so I'm glad I found the fun in another sport.
Yeah, no, that's so cool and such a, you know, serendipitous way or whatever to kind of get into the sport that is actually, the one that's showing your best abilities is from a place of like disappointment and just trying to get through recovering from an injury, right? Like you're never in a great spot when you're going to the other things you have to do that aren't the thing that you're trying to do. Was there ever a time you think where you said your family was into triathlon, where they were like kind of hoping that you were going to transfer over?
No, I don't think so. Well, my siblings and I always have been, just enjoying sports, different kind of sports, and my parents and like the bigger family, also my grandparents and uncles and aunts and so on, also came to spectate when I was running or to soccer games of my brother. But yeah, my grandpa did triathlon, so they were like, there are a couple of pictures where I'm a baby and just on a local triathlon with my grandma, and we're just waiting until my granddad has finished. So I've been part of triathlon, or triathlon has been part of me for quite a while, and then it just took a longer time until I participated myself.
Yeah, that's great. Is it do you get the family out to come watch you at some of your big races? Grandpa?
Yeah, I'm bringing a lot of people to Kona this year.
It's funny, they all want to come to Kona, don't they? They didn't go to South Africa, but they'll be in Kona.
Yeah, exactly. They all have that on their bucket list, and now it's a perfect opportunity, now that I'm qualified, to book the vacations early and the flights and so on. And so I'm looking forward to have a lot of support in Kona.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. And Kona's been a big goal for you. I imagine that's why you went to Cozumel at the end of the year last year. So you're pretty excited for that race coming up?
Oh yeah. I feel like for every triathlete, finishing an Ironman at least once is something you kind of have to do or like want to achieve in your career. And then Kona is the pinnacle. And so I raced in Nice last year and unfortunately crashed, which was a huge disappointment for me.
Yeah.
And that's also the reason why I signed up for Cozumel, because I wanted to finish the season on a positive note and not on a DNF. So that was the reason behind Cozumel. I probably wouldn't have raced Cozumel if Nice would have gone well, because it was also a long season until Nice. But yeah, you can't finish a season or a year on a DNF, can you?
No, you can't. And, it's kind of cool. I've talked to a few athletes that have had similar reasons to do that one last race at the end of the year. And it turns out it comes out sometimes to be a breakthrough race. You get that success where maybe you weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was really cool, especially because it was my second time racing in Cozumel. I did my first ever Ironman in Cozumel, and I did not have the best day there and suffered a lot and was questioning a lot of my life choices in that race. And coming back now and, being a lot better prepared, I really felt like I conquered that race and the conditions there as well. And that felt also really special.
That's awesome. Isn't it funny, the kind of juxtaposition of Ironman, where if you win or you have a good race, it's like cloud nine, and if you're not, you're like, what am I doing with my existence?
Yeah, it's either the one or the other, I feel like.
That's awesome. It's so cool to see, and I was able to commentate your race in South Africa this year and watch that, and that was a amazing performance and a great race. And like you said, it was tight. Some of those out and backs, I was like, oh man, they're really eyeballing each other. It was a real deal race. So cool to be able to see that and that breakthrough for you, among the other things that we're talking about. But is it at all difficult? And it seems like you're in a good spot, so I'm not putting this on you, but how hard is it to have these genuine goals, like, oh, I want to go to Kona for the first time, and you want to go, you win Cozumel, then you go to South Africa, and then all of a sudden you're winning the IRONMAN Pro Series, and you're like going to Kona, and you just want to go to Kona and do your best, do your thing, but there is this external, some people will feel this external pressure that now that you're leading the race, there's all these other expectations, or people are looking to you. How does an athlete in that ascension space that you're in kind of push that away and be like, no, I'm still doing the thing that I'm doing. You guys are wanting this, but I'm still just doing this.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and I think that's something every professional athlete kind of has to figure out for themselves. And I'm not sure if there's like a general answer that works for everyone, but for me, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. I'm just enjoying it, and the reason why I'm doing triathlon is because it's a lot of fun to put all energy and time and like all the resources into one big goal, or like a couple of big goals a year, like a couple of big races, and to get the chance to do that feels just like a huge privilege. So I'm not thinking too much about what other people expect me to do. I just can do what I can on that day, and sometimes that's a bit different than what I expected it to be honest. So in Hamburg now, I really struggled on the second half of the run because my stomach was just not tolerating anything anymore. And then I had to change my plans of a fast run time to just surviving. And in the end, I crossed the finish line, like not super happy, but still like in belief that I did the best I could in those last 8 hours.
Yeah, and that's the races that you learn from that are going to allow you to have performances, and especially like a world championship in Kona when it's really tough, are those races where it's really tough and that things aren't going your way, right? Like, and learning how to kind of push through that. Yeah. At what point in Hamburg could you tell that? Because I imagine it's even more frustrating for someone whose strength, obviously you're an amazing cyclist, so your strength is kind of your bike run combo, but you're kind of always waiting for this weapon of the run. And like for me, on the other hand, I was like always like, oh man, the run's coming, it's going to be terrible. So like you expected it, but for you there's like this expectation that your thing is going to be there. How much harder is it for an athlete like you that the run is a strength when you're like, oh shoot, it's not, now this is where I have to kind of manage?
I mean, you don't really have a lot of time to think about it. You just it was for me the first time that I was in a situation like that. And looking back now, and obviously I did not have a lot of time to analyze it yet, but looking back, it was just when it happened, I knew, okay, how do I get to the finish line in the fastest way possible, but not with risking that I'm just completely falling apart at kilometer 35 and I can't finish even the race. I always think you have plenty of time after the race to like think about the lost chances, or like be really sad and frustrated about it. But in the race itself, it's really important to get the job done, because that in the end that's my job, like that's my most important work day. I have to hold it together and just bring it home as quickly as possible. And even though obviously I was talking a lot about fun, that last half marathon was not fun. But yeah, it can't be always fun, but in general I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it is not fun when the body's not responding how you want it to be, especially when it's the stomach that kind of gives up. It can be frustrating, right? And to me, it's crazy though, looking at, and I know you're obviously a bit newer to the sport in general, but it's crazy for me to look at your times and the times of that race in Hamburg in general and be like, oh yeah, she faded on the run and went 8:32, and like, and 3 hours used to be, not that long ago, a marathon time that would win you a race like that. Yeah,
I think it's just unbelievable where the sport in general is going, but also I'm just really excited to see how the women in triathlon are developing. And that race in Hamburg just had it all. It had like the outstanding performances and the battle that everyone was looking forward to between Kat and Laura. And I think if you would have scripted it, you probably would have scripted it similar, or like the same way it actually happened. And I really have to go back and rewatch the race, because I was so far back that I did never see those two, and I really want to see how the race really unfolded. But then we also had like a lot of dreams shattered, with Jackie having like too many punctures. It was just not one. It was like many punctures in her tire, and she couldn't. There was no way she could have fixed it. So that was the end of her dream. And obviously Elle's not paying attention for like a second, taking a wrong turn when I saw her, and it's really sad, obviously. And so it had like a lot of drama in that race. But that's also what it makes exciting. And you can never be, or like the slogan Ironman uses, anything is possible, is pretty true in both directions.
That's so awesome. I love that you said that, because you're right. That race really did have it all. And I read Elsa's post, and that really is heartbreaking, right? And especially because she's like, I did that. It's my responsibility. Like, it's that it's heartbreaking to take that away. Was it a just because I didn't see your details, was it just a nondescript zone where it was like confusing, or was it like, that's the hard part, is that if you're like if you're bonked at all, you're for a second, like it's really hard to have all the focus when you're putting that kind of energy in an Ironman, right?
Yeah, I think like the last 2 laps, you couldn't go wrong because there were so many people on course, but obviously it happened in the first lap, and we were only very few athletes on course. Well, 5 to be honest. And I did a lot of course recce the days before to be sure where the course is going, and that was like at the point where we had an out and back, and that was like on a 360 turn. And I think that was, if you weren't aware, it was like not easy to miss, but I can see that you miss it.
Sure. Yeah.
So and as you said, like if you're focused but already a bit tired and just right off the bike, there's so many things happening you have to pay attention to, and suddenly you unfortunately miss part of the course.
No, and it's funny, and people underestimate that happening, and that's, I had a race that I had done literally like 8 times, and you could do it in my sleep, and there was this right hand turn and a straight, like to go straight, there were all these people and friends of mine spectating, and I literally ran through them and like put them out of my way so I could run straight, and they're like, Matt, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's weird, like this is something I've done all the time. But I was thinking about the guy that was running on my shoulder and trying to drop him or whatever it is, right? Like that's the thing. It gets difficult, and that's why it's so heartbreaking to see Elle's in that space, and she's just kind of that personality that we all, nobody wants to see her not have success. So that's brutal. But yeah, I mean, to your point, the upsides of that, or the other side of that coin, and that race up front was great. Like, did you think that you'd have to go an 8:03 to win Hamburg? Like, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, but I was anticipating a very fast race, to be honest, with Kat obviously coming right off a world record, Laura, the world champ. And I mean, Solveig, that was phenomenal as well. I raced her in Venice, and she had a very fast race there. And she's a Norwegian, so all the Norwegians who give Ironman a go are good at it. So I was expecting a very good performance from her too. But to be that good and that fast, that was really incredible.
That's awesome. And I think it's cool. And the reason I'm asking you more of these questions is because you clearly respect what the other athletes are doing, and it's clearly an inspiration for you, and it's like, okay, this is where we can go, and like it gives you strength, because I think some people can be put off by it, be like, oh man, they're at this level that I can never get there, where like when I had those experiences, I'm like, oh man, that's crazy, look at how fast they're going. Like that means that there's something more that we all can do, right?
So Laura has been kind of a role model for me since the day I started to be interested in triathlon. She just started racing professionally, and obviously she doesn't have a triathlon background or a swim background. She had to put in a lot of work in the swim as well, and it's something I can like relate to. And seeing her achieving all those dreams, like becoming a world champ and breaking the world record, makes it easier to believe that it's actually possible. I'm not saying it's easy or that I can ever do it, but just having the general belief it's possible is a huge motivation as well to just try and come as close as possible to that.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, you can see too in her that when she even, it does feel like even that Nice win, that world championship win, elevated her self-confidence and then unlocked, her thinking what she can do, right? I mean, 2:38, that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, it's very fast, yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure how many men could do that, to be honest, but now they can do that in Frankfurt. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's not many at all, and that, 5 years ago, that was, one of the fastest times in the sport, right? So that's crazy, and it's crazy to think that it's gonna get faster from there, and that's inspiring to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget there were also some athletes who were not racing who will factor massively, like someone like Lucy, Anne Haug, obviously, and Chelsea. So there like still a couple names that will have an impact on Kona as well and influence the race there massively.
Awesome. So for you, because all we can do is, we have to race our competitors, but all we can do is the best that we can do on the day. So for you in Kona, what's that experience as a first timer look like? Like, what are you, like, I'll ask you what you're trying to do to be as fast as you can be and all that, but like, what are you most excited about in Kona, and what are you hoping to personally get out of that race this year?
So until now, I haven't thought that much about the race in Kona, to be honest, because there were just other races on the radar. Yeah. But I'm really curious to find out what the hype is about in Kona, like, because it's so hard to understand if you've never been there. And when Ironman changed the world champs to Nice, I was quite excited about that because I like Nice, but I have never been to Kona. But obviously, a lot of people are now happy both races are back, and I really want to try and understand why it's so important to so many people. And I think to get that, you have to be there and experience it firsthand, pretty much. So that's my little personal goal for Kona.
Sure, that's great. That's awesome, and that's what it should be. And I think that is a race that is pretty hard to like have your best race the first time. But I think like the best way to have your best race the first time is to be there with open eyes and like excited to be there to do the race and figure it out, right? Like I think that approach is perfect, because if you go in with expectations, Kona's kind of going to tell you that you thought wrong.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many external factors that play into the race, and obviously the heat and humidity, and but I'm trusting my coach there as well, that he also has a plan for all those factors, and we just try and prepare as best as possible to be ready for that challenge. But in the end, it's like every Ironman, you never really know what you get, because you can plan and prepare to the best of your abilities, and then you always learn something new, or something happens that has never happened before to you, and it's really hard to get that perfect race from start to finish, and that's also what makes it really exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the thing in any Ironman, but especially in Kona, people think that the athlete that wins has the perfect day, and they're just better at managing when things go wrong. Except Patrick said he did have a perfect day this year, which was kind of evident by how fast he went. But That's sweet. Well, if you have any questions, I'm the guy. I've been in that race many times. So you got any top questions? What, a spot that like looks hard to you, but you're like, that's not that hard. Like, come on, give me something. What's your question?
I'm a bit afraid of the sharks, to be honest. I'd rather don't see anything in the water when I'm swimming. But obviously, when I look at the pictures of the swim in Kona, it looks super nice. But I might be afraid that I see something I rather would not have seen.
Yeah,
in the water.
I will say I've got other stories in other locations that I could tell you that kind of freak you out. But in Kona, I've swam in the bay probably like 50 or 60 times, more than that probably, because I've done training there. Never once have I seen a shark or anything that looks anything like that. And they actually even have, on the sharks that matter, they have like little trackers so people know if they're like in the area. So you're fine. Dolphins, 100%. Dolphins, you'll find.
Dolphins don't bite.
No.
I guess.
And they don't.
So it's not dangerous.
And they're great. They'll swim with you in Kailua Bay. It's great. You going to be out there a few weeks before to train?
I'm flying out 2 weeks before the race. I start the trip, and then I think I'll get to Kona 12 days out.
Cool.
To experience it a bit, check out the course. Obviously, I've watched it many times on TV, and the course doesn't look that tricky, so it probably doesn't need a lot of recce. But again, the winds can be strong as well. So that's something. Maybe you should go to the Canaries before that and train a bit in the wind to be ready for that.
Yeah, and it is, and it's a different kind of wind. I was having a conversation with somebody about this the other day, being like, I don't know why people make such a big deal about it. And it's like, yeah, a lot of the 90% of the time, it's not a big deal, but the other 10% of the time, it's something that you need to have experience at. So like that's would be my recommendation, is in those 2 weeks, just getting to those further sections of the course as much as you can at that time of day in different conditions, right? So you can like feel it and be like, oh, okay, this is what they mean when it's when they say they win. And the only other piece of advice is secret. But it's not going to be a secret after this. Is more for pre-race. If you want to swim with the dolphins, people think I'm crazy, but it's totally true and it works every time. Wednesday mornings in Kona, they're always there. I promise you, it's like clockwork. They're always there on Wednesdays, and prove me wrong, but...
Do you have a time?
No, yeah, usually between like 8, like if you're there from like 8 to 9 or whatever, you'll see dolphins on Wednesday for sure.
All right, you know where to find me on Wednesdays between 8 and 9 then.
That's awesome. And everybody else now that's listening, it's gonna be a good one. That's awesome. Excited to see you move forward there. And so you've got some time with the remainder of your season to prepare for Kona and the rest of your races that you have on the calendar. What are the rest of the races that you're doing this year?
Not that many, to be honest. I decided that I need a break because it's been quite a tough last 12 months. I've prepared for 5 full distance races in the last year. I finished only 4, but did all the training, and I'm just tired. So I'm taking a little bit of a break, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I don't know yet, and then start to build just the volume up again, and maybe focus a little bit on the details as well, that sometimes get a bit lost when you try to get like all the race specific sessions in for an Ironman. And then I'm just doing 70.3 Zadamsee in Austria.
Okay.
At the end of August, and then Kona, and then maybe Marbella as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean it's funny. I think people look at professional triathletes' calendar from like the year like 2023, 2024, 2025, and it's like, oh no, like that's not really how it works with like the body. And when you're racing and like looking at you, like you just did Cozumel not that long before you did South Africa, so like you never you didn't really have much of an off season in the last little bit, have you?
Well, I took December off,
Okay.
but then went pretty soon back into like a kind of series of big training block to be ready for South Africa. And I always say like 20 hours of training is totally fine a week, but it's the 5 or 7 hours that come on top of it that really make you fatigued and tired, not just physically, but also mentally, to push yourself and to get out of bed and go to the pool, even though your body just tired. So yeah, I feel like it's quite hard to keep that focus on all year round. So this break is it's obviously also for my body, but also for my mind to switch off, like visit family, go out with friends, and not pay attention what time I go to bed.
Right.
So it's quite nice to have a bit of a relaxed time now.
That's awesome. And when you do a break like that, is that like you're not doing anything, or you're still kind of moving the body a little bit to make sure you've got some movement?
Well, I haven't moved today. I went to the grocery store. That was about it. At least I walked, but that was about it. I think the next few days will be very limited movement because Hamburg was 2 days ago. And then I just go by feel. I have a nice swim group here, so maybe I'll go for a swim. If the weather is nice, I jump on my bike to do a ride, coffee ride. But if I don't feel like it, then there's no guilty feelings of just staying home and watch TV or something like that.
That's awesome.
And I also have like a very long to-do list, if I'm honest, because everything that came up, I was just, okay, after Hamburg. Yeah. So I have to do that now.
You've got some admin to take care of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's also part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to me, I'm really impressed with, especially for how long you've been in the sport and kind of at the top level. Obviously you have well thought out intentions yourself, but obviously a great team around you. Because I think a lot of people that would find themselves in the situation that you're in, leading the IRONMAN Pro Series with, the caliber of athletes that are around you, they'd be like chasing tail or panicking or being like, okay, this is what we got to do. We got to keep things rolling. But you're like, nope, that's great. And we're going to continue to like do our best there. But for me to be the best, I want to be in this race in Kona. Like, I need to take a break. And I think there's a lot of athletes that can kind of get spun out on the momentum of always doing more. I think we have this attitude in triathlon that the more you do, the better you're going to be. But it's like, no, to an extent, but it's got to be, the doing has to be intentional, right?
Yeah, and I'm also sometimes a bit like that, to be honest. And I tend to get carried away to do sometimes more races and do like a little. For example, the race in Venice, I missed out on a lot of points there, so it would make sense maybe to do Swansea. But I made a promise at the beginning of the year, and I said, okay, I'm doing the series, but I'm not risking the big goal of Kona by trying to chase many more races and many more points. If something doesn't go perfect, then that's okay. I want to be ready in Kona, and for that I have to take it a bit easier in June, and then have enough time to get myself ready, but also the equipment and everything to be in like the best possible shape in Kona. It's obviously also a bit of a risk, because if you put everything on just one race, then if something goes wrong there, then that's not great. But that's also something which makes professional sports exciting. If you want to have security, then just don't do professional sports.
I think that's well said. But I do think, and obviously we're just in the second year of the IRONMAN Pro Series, but I think if you actually want to finish kind of in that top 5 or in that podium, or possibly win the IRONMAN Pro Series, you have to have that attitude, right? Like if you're chasing, then you're never going to have the big races and get the actual big points that matter. Yes, you could be consistent if you want to be in the top 10 or top 15 or top 20, yes, do as many races as you can, get as many points, and be as consistent as possible. But yeah, you chasing a 70.3 now and not giving yourself that break, that could be 10 minutes in Kona, and we know how many points that is, right? Like those points come quick. And it seems like the way your season is dialed in, that you do have, your bailout race, or the chance for you to get Venezuela off the table, is that Marbella at the end of the year, right?
Yeah. I was very relieved when I got the slot for Marbella. I was really early at the award ceremony to not miss out on the on the slot allocation, because I really wanted to have that slot and have like kind of a backup. But then if I really smash myself in Kona, I'm not sure in what kind of shape I'll be in Marbella, but I think that's a problem like a lot of people have who racing the series, and that's, we'll see how it develops, but it's always nice to have a slot for 70.3 Worlds, and I've had great experiences racing the 70.3 World Championships, not last year, but because I wasn't racing, but like all the years before, it was always my highlight of the year.
Awesome.
So it was always really cool.
And is it 5 weeks out? 4 weeks out? Something like
4
that?
or 5, no, 4 weeks. Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, especially knowing that your team is obviously puts recovery and giving yourself that time in, like, if you just really cut it off and don't try to do anything till your body tells you can, and it might not tell you again till a week out, 10 days out, but maybe, you'll be totally fine. That's sweet. So what, besides, I know Kona's it, but besides that, what are you most excited about for the rest of the season for you in your professional triathlon experience? What's exciting you?
Yeah, as I said before, like, I'm really excited to experience the Kona hype and the race there and the challenges I have no idea about right now, and how I tackle those challenges, and hopefully get a bit of redemption from Nice, because I feel like the chapter of competing and finishing in the Ironman World Championships is still open for me, and I want to do well to put the whole Nice experience, or like not experience in general, because I like my time in Nice, but obviously the end of my race wasn't the best. Just be happy with that as well.
Yeah.
Or come to peace with it, I think is what you say. I was just lacking the words.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I will say the only thing, be ready. It's going to be a little bit different this time, because you're not going to be under the radar. You're going to get to do I get to talk to you before the race. We do all the interviews, all the hype. Like, that is part of Kona too, right? Like, it's all that attention and that stuff.
Do you think I should come earlier in 12 days?
You'll be fine. I get you the week of the race, but there's it's that race week it's pretty cool, especially for an athlete like you in that space. Like, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, obviously it takes a bit time away, but all those activities during race week are also just exciting for us athletes, because we enjoy the attention we receive, and like all the media, and obviously we also make a living from it. So it's not just work, it's also enjoyment to have those activities during race week. And from what I've heard, it's extra special to have that in Kona.
Yeah, no, it is. And my bosses are going to get upset with me for saying this, but more insider information for you, because it's your first time. Do your best, because you'll see, like, if you see the athletes that have been there and the athletes that are kind of always getting that attention, they'll do a really good job of, there's certain days you just have to be out doing stuff, right? But they do a very good job of being like, you know what, from this day on, I'm done. Or on like Tuesday or like whatever, like, give yourself days or some time where you're like, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to say yes to a last minute thing or this thing then, so that you're actually like taking care of yourself. And you can have, like, the experience in Kona is that, but it's also your whole family that's coming out to to watch you and like hanging out with them, and like you don't want to have to sacrifice any time with that experience either, you know.
Yeah, but we're all staying a couple of days longer, so
Oh, cool.
we get to do that hangout part after the race as well.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's great that my family is really understanding and also gives me the space I need before the race. But we have plenty of time afterwards as well. And then I'm probably also a lot more relaxed and hopefully happy with the race.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, you will be for sure. Well, I'm excited to have some pre-race interviews with you in Kona, but we'll say I know you drove 11 hours yesterday after doing an Ironman, and you were kind enough to sit down and chat with me, so I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you for making it happen so spontaneously and so early. For you, it's not super easy to arrange a time when we are nine hours apart and just have like a couple of days. So thanks for making it happen.
Yeah, no, of course. Thanks so much. And best of, well, you don't need any luck, but enjoy that recovery period you've got coming.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love chatting to Anna. You know, I haven't had an opportunity to do so directly outside of, commentating post-race interviews. So it's great to get a little chance to see a little more of her personality one-on-one, and love how like calm and composed she is about where she's at and kind of taking it all in stride, and, you know, being humble as well, knowing that, you know, there's a lot more racing to go and that her staying on the top is going to be a challenge, and Kat's in a good position to, you know, overtake her with more points because Anna has more scores than Kat does. So the things are going to catch up when that switches around, but love seeing her attitude about that. And I have no doubt that she's going to stay in the very, very high end of that series, just with the types of races she's done. The fact that, as she said, she has some points to make up from Venezia Solo at the end of the season. So love seeing her, and more importantly, and obviously the Ironman Pro Series is great, but the fact that she's still performing at this high level on those individual races is huge. Love seeing that from her. And, you know, she spoke about the fact that race was crazy in Hamburg, and I'll just say it was crazy. And Laura Philipp with a time of 8:03.13 and Kat Matthews 8:05.13, total battle to get those women to that point, with 2:38 marathon winning that race. And I don't know that I saw a sub 2:40 coming at that race or anytime this year really on the women's field. So that was amazing to see, and awesome to see those women really charging at the front of that race and really just breaking down barriers for what we've kind of expect in the sport or thought was possible. So that's great. And that changes up the Ironman Pro Series a little bit or a lot of bit, I should say, with some big moves, with Kat Matthews moving into second place with that score. She's not quite at a perfect score, but 98.80 for the two races that she has, right behind Anna at 10.60. Then Danielle Lewis, who also raced in Hamburg, had a good race. Maybe not her best race, but a consistent enough race to get her up into third place. So that's your women's podium right now in the Ironman Pro Series. Is Anne Reischmann, Kat Matthews, Danielle Lewis, and then the men have had an off period. So standings remain the same since the last time we chatted or you listened to me, and that's Christian Blumenfeld in first place with Jonas Schoenberg in second and Leon Chevalier in third. He's got some more scores than those two above him, so Casper Starnes is kind of more in the driver's seat in that battle in fourth place, just behind Leon. So it's shaping up. Starting to shape up. The season's come together, and I'd love to see it, and excited to see what else is coming down as far as the racing goes and where these points end up. And to stay across all the latest as far as the points go with the Ironman and Ironman Pro Series news, follow at Ironman Try on Instagram, and check out proseries.ironman.com for standings, athlete bios, episodes of A Fighting Chance, replays of the races, and much, much more. And we'll have to, as always, thank our wonderful presenting sponsor, Maurten, the official sports performance nutrition partner of the Ironman Global Series, for supporting us in the IRONMAN Insider podcast. Couldn't do it without Maurten, and be sure to enjoy their products out on race course when you're out there racing. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you're sitting on the trainer, you can also watch the podcast as a video on our Ironman Triathlon YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us on the IRONMAN Insider podcast presented by Maurten. Be sure to keep an eye on this space for more great conversations with all the awesome personalities we have in this sport. I'm Matt Lieto, and thank you so much for tuning in.